We're up to Siman Tov Kuf Pei Daled Sif Gimel, which is page 111. So Sif Gimel, that's the second last line of the Shulchan Aruch. B'nei Odom HaChavushim B'veis Asorim, if there are people who are locked up in prison, Ein Mevin Etzlam Sefer Torah, we don't take a Sefer Torah to them. Afilu b'Rosh HaShana-Mishna Berura-The, even on Rosh HaShana-Mishna, we don't take a Sefer Torah to them. V'ayin Le'el Sosim Kufla Mithei, that discusses all the various different details of this law. The basic halacha is that we don't take a Sefer Torah to people, we expect the people to go to the Sefer Torah. This is referring to when there's just one or two people. If it's a whole minyan who needs a Sefer Torah, then it's different. But here it's just one or two people locked up, we don't take them a Sefer Torah.
This references Sefer Torah, not necessarily to a shofar.
Correct. Yes, there's a big difference between a Sefer Torah and a shofar. Right? Sefer Torah has kedusha to it, right, whereas a shofar is just an article used for doing a mitzvah, right, which is has not got kedusha, doesn't have any holiness to it. Sif Daled says the Shulchan Aruch. Malin ben kriyas haTorah litkiyas shofar. If there is a bris milah to do, then it's done between kriyas haTorah and blowing the shofar. That's the state that we do it. Why is that? Let's see the Mishnah Berurah Kod Yud Aleph. So we're now on the top line of page 112 in the Mishnah Berurah, the top line. Ben kriyas haTorah v'chola dekach haseder bris Avraham shi'amila v'akedas Yitzchak. The milah was the bris of Avraham. That was the bris that the covenant that Avraham was given was milah circumcision, and the shofar reminds us of Akedas Yitzchak, which happened afterwards. So we do it in the order, in the historical order. First the bris, and then the blowing the shofar. Rosh HaShana, as the Gemara says in Rosh HaShana, that's the reason why the shofar we use is a ram's horn in order to remember to evoke the merit of the Aked of Yitzchak. An additional reason, because we'd have a general rule that when you have a choice of two things to do, we always pick the more common one. And the common one should be done first. And the milah is more common than blowing the shofar. If in a place where one does the milah at home, or in a place where then there's if it's Shabbos and then we're blowing the shofar, if it's Shabbos. But in a place where the minhag is to do the milah at home, then you do the milah after davening, so that won't be. We don't want to bother the community to go all the way to the house for the milah and then go all the way back to shul. After Musaf, when they go home. After Musaf. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, let's continue. Let's move on to the next simon. We haven't got much time. Let's try and see some other halachas. There's some more details of this halacha. But let's move on to the next simon. Simon Tov Kuf Pei Hei. Birkas HaShofar Uboi Hei Seifim. Aleph. Tzorich Diskoya Me'umud. One has to blow the shofar standing up. We're talking here about the person actually blowing the shofar. We'll talk about the people listening in a minute. The person blowing the shofar has to be standing up. Hagor says the Umar, and the minhag is to blow the shofar from the bima, from the same place where we read the Torah. That's the same place where we blow the shofar. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kod Aleph. That's 2 lines from the bottom of the right column of this page. The bracha has to be said standing up, like all other birkas mitzvahs. Every bracha made on a mitzvah should be said standing up. There's no difference. This bracha too has to be said standing up. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kod Beis. Why does the shofar? Why should the shofar be blown standing? T'chsiv yom tiro yihi elochem v'afinan melochem degabe omer u'ba'omer ksiv chelmesh. We learn it. We learn it from Psukim. We learn it from the Korban Omer. But the Korban Omer says the word "koma" which komam is a word that means to stand up, and there's a similar word which allows us to learn with the Gzeir Shavim. That's one of the ways that the Torah is expanded by learning halachas across similar wordings. So we learn from Omer to the din of Tkiyah Shofar, there has to be said standing up. It has to be blown to standing up. The definition of standing, here we have a definition of standing. If one leans against something, is it called standing or not? So it says the Magen Avraham, if you're leaning against something in such a way that if that article was removed, you would then lose your balance and fall, then that's not called standing. Okay, standing, one can lean lightly against something, but if one's leaning heavily against something in a way that if the article is removed, the person would fall, then that's called sitting, that's not called standing. However, if one blew the shofar when sitting, he has been yotza. This pasuk is not has not got the status of a biblical command. It's just a drabonon with an asmachta. The rabbonon found a support from the verse, from the pasuk. They found that this is not actually the intention of the pasuk. Midorais, according to the Torah, one does not need to stand when blowing the shofar. It's only rabbinic, and it's only lechatchil. It's only in the first instance. If one blew the shofar sitting down, one has been yotza. So halacha is that the person blowing the shofar must stand, and he should not lean against something heavily. However, if he blew the shofar sitting down or leaning against something, then he has been yotza and he does not need to blow again.
This definition of standing versus sitting
Yes.
is a derisa definition, or it's a rabbinic definition?
That's a good question. Where do we have a halacha? Be relevant in cases where you have a halacha that midiraisa you have to stand. So do we have places? Do we have a place where midiraisa you have to stand? I don't know if there are any places like that where the Torah, where according to the Torah you have to stand up. Well, we said you have to stand up for Birkas HaMitzvahs, that's Drabonon. You have to stand up for Tkiyah Shofar, that's Drabonon.
Right.
To stand up for Shemona Esrei is Drabonon. Where do we have something that you have to stand with the rice?
I asked the question because it seems if a person has to decide between leaning heavily or sitting, this definition says they're the same in the eyes of, God, basically.
Right.
Right. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what it sounds like. If I'm leaning so heavily, then yes. Yes. Light leaning is fine, but heavy leaning, in a way that if the article is taken away, one would fall. Right. It's the same as sitting. Yeah, there's no advantage.
So in that case, a person might just as well sit?
Yeah. Yeah. No, there is an advantage, because if you look at the Sharat Tziyons of cotton base, and that's the third line. The Sharat Tziyon is beneath the Mishnah Berura. Beneath the Mishnah Berura, the third line of the Sharat Tziyon, about further away into the line, there's a base in parentheses. It says, "Va'avshe beBirka Yosef, Chelek Hashmishim Tesvav, Metzadid lahokel b'inyoneinu b'zu asmicha." Then Birka Yosef says that regarding blowing shofar, one can lean. I didn't copy this out inside because most of the Achronim followed the view of the Magen Avraham. However, in a time of need, in a pressing situation, one can rely on this opinion. So there is an opinion that disagrees with Magen Avraham and says that leaning heavily is considered standing, not considered sitting. Even though the Mishnah Berura did not paskin this way because he paskined according to the majority of the Achronim, the whole is considered sitting. He says that in a mokum adchak, in a case of pressing need, someone who can't stand up and has to lean, then one can rely on this opinion that leaning is considered standing. Mm-hmm. So then that definitely would be the case that one should definitely stand up, leaning rather than sit. Yes, there's a definite advantage. It's not just the opinion of the Birka Yosef, it's even that the Mishnah Berura says that one can and should rely on it in the case of need. And let's go back to the Mishnah Berura on the fifth line. All this was regarding the person blowing the shofar. What about the people listening to the shofar, which is most of us? That tzibur hashoimim hatkiyos lo yitrichum la'amoid mishum kvoid hatzibur. The people listening, the community, do not need to stand up. V'gam ki hasidim nishmam umbel tatkir shel seid habrachos. Two reasons. Number one, Chazal didn't want to bother us to stand, and number two, we're anyway going to hear it standing during Chazal Sashatz. Right? Or for the Nusach Sfard, they hear it during the Shmona Esrei itself. The Nusach Ashkenaz during the Chazal Sashatz. However, the custom is that the tzibur do stand. It's something that the community has accepted upon themselves to stand up, even though it's strictly speaking unnecessary. So now one should stand because that's the minhag. That's the custom nowadays, but it's not the halacha. It's the halacha because it's the minhag, because it's the custom one should stand. The minhag is to stand even for the tkiyas before musaf. It's interesting. If you look in the poskim, the tkiyas before musaf, meaning the first lot of 30, are called the tkiyas de miyushav, the sitting tkiyas. Whereas the ones during Shmona Esrei are called the tkiyas de me'umad, the standing tkiyas. Right? The reason is because even though we do stand for both, there's a big difference. Because the first 30, halachically one could sit, it's just a custom to stand. And therefore, they're still known as the sitting tkiyas. Even though practically speaking, we do stand up for them. If there's an individual who's only going to hear the first 30, and he's not going to have the later 30 standing, then he should, according to halacha, he should stand. Okay, so there should definitely be a set of 30 that he hears standing up. It doesn't. The minhag is to sit for the minhag is to stand for all of them. One could sit for the first 30 if it's difficult. However, if he's not going to hear the second set of 30, then he should definitely stand. And at least stand. At least lead. Okay. Sivkot and Gimel. We saw the Ramah said that the shofar is blown from the bimah, which is the same place where we read the Torah. Why is that? Says the Mishnah Berurah, we do it so that the merit of the Torah protects us. When we blow the shofar, we want the merit of the Torah to aid our blowing of the shofar. The blowing of the shofar should preferably be done by a tzaddik, a righteous person who's fitting for the job. He's representing the community. To Hashem, it should be someone who is a righteous person. However, the most important thing is that there should not be any machoikas, there should not be any disagreements, any machoikas. Even if it means that the Baal Tekeh is going to be someone who's not such a tzaddik and not so worthy of the job, but it's more important that we avoid strife, that we avoid the machoikas.
A machoikas in who is being chosen?
Yes, if there's a disagreement between who's going to be the Baal Tekeh, then the tzaddik should stand down, even if it means that someone who's not a tzaddik is going to be wearing the shofar. Okay, fine, okay, let's stop.